We're back with the author of the book, A Prequel, now in paperback, Rachel Maddow. There are reports that the owner of this company called the chairman of this company, and said, yeah, you got to get the news to lay off any bad Trump stories. And the word is that that was not passed on to the news division, I'm happy to say.
Right on.
Have you been getting anything like that at MSNBC? Are there any like, hey, let's not talk about Trump too much over there?
Not at all. And that's what leadership looks like here. Leadership is not that you don't expect that you're going to get inappropriate political pressure. Leadership is hearing that inappropriate political pressure and making sure that the people who actually do the work never have to bear that cost themselves. That is what you need. And we're good at MSNBC, that we're not experiencing editorial pressure.
You guys aren't being sued for $20 billion?
There's always lots of threats of lawsuits, lots of bullying and that sort of stuff. Trump said right before the election that we should all be put on trial for treason so that they could execute us all at MSNBC. Like, okay, what? Okay, big guy.
Wow.
Yeah, the pressure is real, and Trump's authoritarian tendencies are as bad, again, as any of the worst critics said they would be, but the country is not having it. And the country's pushing back. And so many of the things that he's tried to do have been pushed back because the American people are saying no, because elected representatives, including in Congress, can't defend what he's doing and they start pushing back. That's how we're saving Head Start. That's how they're keeping Social Security field offices open. That's how so much of this stuff is going by the wayside. It's not just the courts holding the line. It's people pushing back and Trump finding himself alone on the wrong side of every argument.
Your book, Prequel, An American Fight Against Fascism, which is out now in paperback, tells the story of the ultra-right plots to bring authoritarian rule to the United States in the 1930s, right? Yep. And into the 40s. Where are we now? If history doesn't necessarily repeat itself, but you see patterns, where are we in this process compared to this?
We are in the midst of an attempted authoritarian overthrow of the U.S. government, and it is not by an insurgent movement like it was in the era that I write about in Prequel. It's the party in power. And that said, I think that it still helps us to know that previous generations of Americans have fought their own fights against fascists. American fascism is a real thing. It's recurrent. Right now, it's in the White House. And it's never been there before. But we know how to fight against fascists, and it depends on the American people loving liberty and loving democracy and knowing that what the founders gave us is something that we're not going to squander. We're not going to be the generation that loses it. There isn't one silver bullet. There isn't one thing that works against fascism. You have to do everything all at once. But you need journalism, and we need to protect journalists. You need the courts, and we need to protect the courts. You need lawyers, and they're not the most popular people in the world, but you need to protect lawyers so that we can access the courts, so the courts can play their role. You need to not give up on Congress and elected officials and demand more of them, hold them accountable, and make sure they do what their constituents want. You need all of these things all at once, and you need the American people to stay engaged and to recognize that this fight is our fight. And when you do all of those things together, we've fought off every authoritarian movement this country has ever faced back to our founding, and we will fight this one too, and we will beat this one too. And the American public being so unified against what he's doing. I mean, a majority, good scientific polling says a majority of Americans think Donald Trump is a dictator who must be stopped. The American public's clarity of vision on that is the most valuable thing that we've got. And we need to hold to it, we need to respect it, and we need to act on it. But I'm more heartened than I ever thought that I would be 100 days in.
Rachel, thanks for the contact, hope.
Yeah.
Her #1 New York Times bestseller, Prequel, is out now in paperback. Rachel Maddow, everybody. We'll be right back with a performance by Gillian Welch and David Rawlings.